All right, we are live, and thank you all for attending. And I'm going to continue my teaching on the Dharma, and it's based on, usually my teachings is based on present situations, the circumstances at hand, whether it be the pandemic or Trump, or whether we can handle the issues that are happening, falling into lies and illusion and despair and all this kind of stuff. But there is a that in this world things are extremely materialistic beyond belief. So every interpretation of something, everything that goes on, is interpreted in a material way. Seen in a material way, felt in a material way. How does it affect you? What do you think about it? That's very material. That's very personal. So we have predominantly an ongoing personality process with the material world, thinking that this is a material world. So everything, no matter what we do, it stems from those thought forms. But what if everything in reality is a spiritual world? What if on another dimension, simultaneously with this one, we are souls, we're angels, we're hanging out with God. We could feel the presence of spirituality in everything. And whether or not that spirituality is lacking or not being defended or not being evolved in the way in which it should be, because we could feel it, we could sense it, and we could sense anything by discernment, by discrimination, because we're actually in this other dimension, a dimension of spirituality. And the world is a spiritual world. It's not a material world. It's made and based by God. So, and that's a hard thing to consider, because we're in a material world and we look around and we go, well, but how can you verify that? How can you make that complete statement, that everything is spiritual, and it's just the truth, and due to the fact that we're in another dimension, a totally different dimension. There's Buddha's state of consciousness, and yet he's hanging with everybody else in this material world. That's not in Buddha's consciousness, and Buddha just kind of like goes, okay, I'll do that. Well, that's what's going on. That's what I'm going to do. That is what's happening. This is what I'm going to do. Because it's a material world, and everybody is so anxious about this material world. It's so important, more important than anything. Right relationship, right nature, kindness, love. All those things kind of go right out the window. Because we're in a material world, and if the world isn't kind of going along with our material perception, our desire of how we can best use this material world, how it serves us, then it doesn't make any sense, because in that dimension, that's what that's about. We're in a material world and how it serves us, and we really can't see outside of that. It just is what it is, because people are born and manifested and communicate and have certain ways of sharing or not sharing, and the elements behind that, is what makes up this material world, and since we really don't perceive, or we're not taught about the spiritual world. We're taught about religion, but we're not taught about a spiritual world, a real live spiritual world, a real world, the whole world, not just a part of it, not just the consciousness of Jesus Christ or the consciousness of Buddha, and how I see the world with my view and all its options and opportunities. That is that. But that's only because one day, this will be a spiritual world, and in the world that I'm speaking of, Buddha's world, that world is, everything is 100% spiritual, but yet it's all suffering, and it's all scary, and it's all really doom and gloom, and it leads you to people like Elon Musk that figures out how to get you to Mars, or how to get you to the moon, or how to get you, other people, how to get you into doing tattoos or wasting your life or doing whatever it is in this material world, of this material world, not of a spiritual world. If it was of a spiritual world, then we would have a whole other way of conceiving the worlds, feeling the world, how the world is perceived, and how if something isn't happening right, if it doesn't work right, if it's off, then it's not a religious, spiritual, quasi, oh no, we're cursed, the devil's doing it, kind of thing. It is a spiritual reality of calmness, calmness, because everything in a spiritual world can be imperiled. And the opportunity of this material world is to switch it over to a spiritual world, to put vibes, good vibes, into everything and anybody in every moment that goes on, calm, happy, peaceful, joyful, considerate, loving, kind, generous, all those things which are natural in the Buddha field, extremely natural in the Buddha field. But in our world, we have all these different scenarios that go on, and we can't really, because it's all glamour, because it all has to do with corruption, and the fact that the world of human kingdom, the animal kingdom, then the human kingdom, and then the Buddha field, or the kingdom of the soul. And that kingdom of the soul is the one that actually takes care of the other kingdoms, because it cares. And that includes the human beings. The human beings have to be taken care of. And that's bodhisattva, bodhicitta. That the influence inside of a human being, they become saint-like, they become caring, they start giving and sharing and changing. Their values, their virtues, their qualities come into play, and they're actually they're in this world, but they're not. They're in a spiritual world, so they ordain this world by their very being, the very play, the very anything and everything you do, is an unwinding of a non-spiritual world created by inhumanity, inhumane behavior, actions, feelings, attitudes toward this physical world, the dominating of the physical world, the ownership of the physical world, all the things that come with selfishness. Yep, there goes my camera. Luckily, I have another one. Ta-da! So the process is the fact that we are in quantum reality. We are in two worlds simultaneously, and a lot of people kind of go, "Wow, could we be in two dimensions?" Because it sure seems like it. There's a crossover somehow, a glitch in the matrix. Crazy ass shit is going on. People are appearing and disappearing, and things are happening, and there are ghosts and weird shit going on in the world. And that's because there is an in-between point, between the human reality and the Buddha field is a place where dark forces take place and things go bump in the night, and lower psychicism and material world has an elemental disfiguration, an elemental manifestation that is another dimension that we're not aware of. And we're not aware of the spiritual world, let alone this other dimension that goes bump in the night. It scares the crap out of you. It's not like, you can label it and say, well, it's demons or this or that. But it is negative elemental forces of the evil spirit. And it just comes up. It manifests. in the moment, in the situation, because we live in a world of multiple dimensions. Multiple dimensions. Not the one you think you're in. This material world, you don't get it. You don't quite get what is going on in the material world, because the material world is much more influenced by the domains of elemental forces. Yeah, elemental forces. Imagine what makes Trump do what Trump does. Yeah, and where I'm sitting, where I see things, because I'm a doctor, I'm Buddha, and I have a science that is, once you understand spirituality, there's a long path in spirituality that leads you through wisdom and enlightenment and understanding. Yeah, and that understanding makes you a doctor, makes you a physicist, makes you a lot of things that are masterful. The qualities of what is character and ability in a person happens as they go up the ladder of spirituality. They become a master in many kinds, many ways. They're masters. Yeah, and every life they go through, that process of their life, they have to master life. They have to master what it is that they're going through in their life in order to recapitulate. Yeah, so that unwinds the elements of the world. Yeah, we don't know that it's going on. We have no idea that's really what's changing the planet. The planet is multidimensional. There are people who are initiates who have bodhicitta, bodhisattva, and Buddha influences in the dimension of Buddha and the soul. Yeah, and just by their living their life, just by their going through their shit, their daily life, they're unwinding the karma of the planet. That is the law. It's a law. Where I come from, this is the science. Bodhicitta, bodhisattva, Buddha. And that's the teaching of dharma. So you can lighten up. Because the life you have may not be all so glorious, you may think, but it is. It's life. And if you're in your relationship of spirituality, then if you understand these teachings, every breath you take while you're alive, you're unwinding the elemental natures of all the things that go wrong. All the things that are bumping the night, the things that are the demons, the things that are under the bed, the things that are in the closet, the things that are behind the car or step into the car and cause the wreck. Those things, those spirits, the influence of what you might call bad karma, bad luck, when you got a witch that puts a spell on you and your family can't get shit done for many generations, that's not bad luck, people. That's spiritual compromise. You're just not aware of the spiritual world that you have to protect. And you cannot have relationship with witches, warlocks, or lower natures within yourself that is driven by witches and warlocks. Their coven of what they call spirituality is nothing more than controlled magic. It is ceremonial magic. It's a knowing in relationship behind magic. It is the realm of knowledge. It's where one understands that there is spirituality, but how to actually cause it to be twisted and have that same virtue turn into a glamour by putting a spell on someone with that same influence. And it causes a glamour inside of a person. It causes them to be a drunk. It causes them to be all the things. And this could start off as childhood. It could start off from previous reincarnation processes. The influence of life has everything to do with our ability to stay in balance. Stay in the middle way. That's why in Buddhism there's all these ways of teaching that helps you understand that this is a scary-ass place. This is a dangerous place. You may think, the leaves will fall and the birdies are tweeting, and the butterflies are so pretty. And it's all true. It's all true. But yet, People kill, people maim, people destroy. And there are other things that have those same elemental forces that get into people that make them do those things. So in Buddhism, the key to ending suffering is to dispelling glamour, eliminating the influence of that glamour on earth. And so in the teachings is for you to better understand. When you look at all the different kingdoms, you see the animal kingdom, you see the vegetable kingdom, get your head straight. Get your head straight. When you look at the human kingdom, you're looking at a duality. Polar opposites. People that are not what they seem to be. They're cursed. They're influenced. It's not what you think. The embodiment behind it is an influence that is another dimension. It holds another dimension inside of humanity, which is cult-like. It is the solar plex. It is the influence of knee-jerk energy. When you're in your lower mind and you're using lower psychicism on a day-to-day basis, you go to football games, you go to football, you do all that, you throw your rod and reel out there and you think some magic component is evolved. And it's not. It's not. The offering of the fish is what's going on. The fish offers itself. It's not magic. You stay calm. It's all good karma or bad karma. You stay calm, you catch a fish. You don't stay calm, you don't catch a fish. It's all good karma, bad karma. And life is like that. What comes your way is provided to you. It's an offering. That's a spiritual connection with the human being and the other kingdoms below. The things you eat, the objects you buy, you think you own. But in your spiritual mind, if you see it this way, that it's provided to you, then there's a whole other increment inside yourself that wants to take care of it. You don't want to overeat. This fish was provided to me. I could probably live on one fish a day. Rather than my fearful thought of, I better catch as much fish as I can, better store them, better eat as much as I can, better dry them up, all this kind of stuff, just hoarding. Rather than living with understanding, slowly but surely, maturing and having a better relationship with everything that's provided to you, because you're in a magical mystery tour. It's the Tao, it's Buddhism. So when we're working within Buddhism, we have to keep our head straight over the fact that we are incarnated in the human form, which is the form of Buddha. Which means we have, because we're in this form, we have the ability to connect with Buddha field. And it's happening all the time. So everybody you look at, every single person you look at, not a dog, not a cat, not a squirrel, not a butterfly, but a human being, the ones you criticize the most. The ones you just, another human, then their races and their characteristics, all these things. And we just get so petty when it comes down to the human being. We're much nicer to dogs and cats and even ferrets and snakes and all kinds of things, because we just have this inhumane nature of putting a diluted aspect of characteristic or quality on something that is diluted. It's not real. It's diluted. It's almost Disneyland-like. But what we need to do, we need to get our head together. And we need to become the hierarchy. The human being is the hierarchy. You're blessed to be born in the human body. You're blessed to not be a dog. You're blessed not to be a cat. You're blessed not to be a snake. And take advantage of that blessing. Don't just pass it on, of thinking, oh, I wish I was a dog. Oh, I wish a dog loved me. Oh, lowering yourself down to this process where you never really get to know yourself or another human being, which has characteristics far beyond anything an animal can give you, far beyond anything. Yeah? Because we bridge together. We can actually do a metamorphic quality. If you meet someone who becomes your friend and they have love in them, yeah, and you've never met anybody like that before, yeah, and you come across someone like that, all of a sudden you are a better person. You metamorphosize. You absorb, you take on, you become not that person, but you become characteristics and quality, and that's what humans are about. We have the ability, because of our heart center, because of our soul, because we are Buddhas, we have the ability to become one. Literally, become one. But you can't do that and include a dog in it. You can't do it. Because the kingdom of the human kingdom doesn't exist except for spirituality. All the other kingdoms, you can put that into the material plane and say it's all from evolution. It's all species carried on from evolution, but not the human kingdom. The human kingdom is super spiritual. It's either outer space or some other thing that created this creature, this human being, compared to all the other animals. There's such a broad reality between it, because we could speak, we can understand, we can become one with everything. Yeah? And that gives math, that gives us the ability to play music, it gives us the ability to do all the things and communicate, all ways in which you cannot imagine, because we can become one. You know? Animals can't become one. They really can't. You know? It's the ability to become all the things that God is creating in the spiritual realm that makes humans different. You know, we think outside the box. We go, wow, yeah, sure, I can go into space. Really? Really? Your body can't absorb it. You can't go outside this hemisphere. You know, really, in real reality. But yet, your consciousness tells you, but I can. And I will. Even if it's in a freaking tin can. The heart draws through the human being. The human being has this ability. Yeah? We can go beyond anything. We can do anything. We can co-create with everything. Yeah? Because we have wisdom. And that's not something that is developed outside the kingdom of the human being. Yeah? Because in our collective consciousness, we can, all of a sudden, collectively, we can all go rocket ship. And we all understand rocket ship. Now we're building rocket ships. And we're doing this because of collective mind, the 100th monkey. Yeah? A collective mind. Yeah? An aspiring quality that moves inside of people. Yeah? And that gives us wisdom. It gives us direction. And it gives us a working out of a plan that we're not even aware of, but it's inside and way up above, in Buddha. Yeah, because we're working it out inside the Buddha field. But we don't see this as a spiritual planet. But if you just get your heads together and see human beings, they are only incarnations of bodhicitta. They're only manifestations of Buddha. They're not a dog or a cat or any similar species to a dog or a cat. They may look like it, they may get plastic surgery to look like it, they may wear clothing to create that illusion. But it's not true. There's nothing like it. They are just human beings. Yeah? But their humanity, their ability to have humanity, is the raising up of humanity to take care of all things. Yeah? We have no idea that we have this influence inside the world that has a collective consciousness that makes us wise. Wise, yeah? And right now, we have, 1/3 of American human race is stupid, yeah? And they're locked in on knowledge. And they have no knowledge, so they don't believe in scientists. But yet, their rule is, I'll wait until they give me the right info, as though they can discriminate when the data is brought about and they're handed the data and they say, okay, now this is all true. It won't work that way. Because in lower mind, there's bigotry, there's bias, there is ego. There's a process to where, no, I believe in this and I won't believe in that. I won't go there. And you can see that in a lot of everything. Whether it be doctors or lawyers or anybody, they all have that, and it's all elemental. It's all elemental. It's manifested elementally. So just get your head around the reality of the fact that human beings are not what you think they are. They're Buddhas, but they're like the seed of a Buddha. They're not grown up yet. They're just walking around having life as incarnation. They're in the tree of life. They're inside the wheel of life. They can't get off of it. They talk about it. They think about it. They want it, and they'll do everything. Suicide all the time. Every life is based mainly around suicide. Every life. Oh, I can't take another day. I wish I'd die. There's no way I could do this. I'm just taking pills. I'm dead. Or eat crap, drink crap. It's suicide. It's all movement towards suicide. And that's our lower elemental nature. That's a natural nature inside of humanity because we reincarnate, and this is hard. And as a human being, we have a collective consciousness so that we can be bridged up into wisdom out of knowledge and into wisdom. And it carries knowledge, it carries truth. Whatever the truth is, the finite reality of truth, not an enormous mass number of evil spirit, because evil spirit is like a million different directions of ways of looking at something, and it just spins your wheels. Oh yeah, well I don't know, maybe I can, I don't know why, it just keeps a person in inertia. Because they have too many options. If you study the third ray, if you study the energy of the Holy Spirit and see the energy behind the evil spirit, it's busy all the time. It's busyness. It's got, 100,000 things going on the phone. It's got all these, things going on in life. It's got this person, then that person, then that person, then this person. It's got every single thing going on. Because it has to do with primarily just this one throat chakra, personality. Strong personality. And the average personality, people use this energy that should be the Holy Spirit. But it's manifested as the evil spirit, which becomes inhumane. And it's our nature to be inhumane. And we don't know that it's our nature to be inhumane. It's our nature not to be hospitable. And that's insane. Doesn't make any sense. But when was the first, how many times do you make cookies for somebody who's going to come by? How many times do you go over to your neighbor to say, hey, hello, how you doing? How many times do you say hi to your waitress or waiter and get to know them? Make them feel good. Give them a great tip. Boost people up. Every person you meet in life, boost them up. Lift them up. Say something. Do something. Because you're their best friend. You don't have to make friends. You are friends, and it's a very different place when you, on a spiritual level, in the Buddha field, and we all are one in this collective consciousness. Wisdom prevails, and wisdom unties everything, but you don't know that it's happening. You have no idea. It just becomes kindness or virtue or calmness or another form of way of deciding something. Old ways, habits continue. But in the Holy Spirit goes, I have a different idea. And it doesn't keep wanting to push that rock up the hill. It's going, no, I'm going to let that rock sit here. I'm going to go up the hill myself. And all's well. I'll build whatever I need up there. I don't need this rock. All kinds of Holy Spirit options come into play. That's wisdom. And wisdom comes elementally only from bodhicitta. only from bodhisattva. Because we're in this. We're on the wheel of life. We are never going to get off of it. So we have to get our heads together. I mean, literally, get our heads together and realize that, any little thing you have going on that is a negative component, a worry, an anxiety, any of that, trust me, it affects your fellow human being. It affects them. You're not all wiry, all on your own, doing your own little wiry stuff, having your own moment of discharge and whatever is going on, It's not true. It's not true. Truth is that you're a bodhicitta, and that you are connected to every living being, and that in silence, people are suffering over other people's lack of calmness, lack of balance, lack of groundedness. Every time we get more grounded, more rooted, more, right nature, like right view, that comes into hand, but it happens after we do right meditation, after we go into mindfulness and we go, wow, I'm pretty freaked out. I guess I better sit down and not worry about this so much, because why am I upset about it? It shouldn't be. I mean, another moment, another situation, feeling not this way, same situation comes up, and, I deal with it, and, whether it works or not, I'm still a better person, rather than all this energy. So pull back. It's really important, because life in knowledge, you get really constricted, and it becomes emotional, But in wisdom, you become easy in relationship of letting it go, just relax on it. Don't think about it anymore, because that's your mindfulness. Your mind is obsessed, and if the mind becomes obsessed at any time, you go back to meditation, and that just means calm down, relax, and then the next thing is watch the effort. What effort are you putting into it? These are all things as a human being. We have to keep this wheel rolling, so that we attain right view, so we attain intention. And if you look at this in truth, through Dharma teachings, is Sangha understanding, the Buddha is teaching, how do we unwind suffering? And the Buddha's teaching is that you're doing it. You are incarnated, but you need to become wise. You need to become wise. And then you need to practice wisdom, loving wisdom, And as you practice loving wisdom, you, which is the teacher in your heart, by controlling your mind, by your heart not controlling your desire, because it'll drive you through everything. It'll cause you to go to war. Jealousy, enviousness, all kinds of terrible things can happen through your heart. So you got to make sure your heart is sensitive to your mind. And your mind is going to give you warnings. Red light. Boom, boom, it goes crazy on you. It has thoughts, it has emotions, it triggers, and it's actually messing with your heart. It's messing with your heart. So the key is to constantly understand that you don't have to take refuge to be bodhicitta. You are born a living human being. Every living human being is created by Buddha. Created by Buddha, And the Buddha field makes manifest this relationship of human being to create humanity that will save the earth and give right relationship to all the kingdoms. So all the kingdoms could flourish. All the kingdoms could become what they're meant to be, which is entering into the Buddha field. They have a telepathic rapport. You can communicate with animals. You can receive healing from animals back and forth, just like you do from human beings. But you have to behave in certain ways, or they're going to pick up the fact that you're an asshole, and what little assholes in them comes up. So now you're in the same as you would be as a human being. Yeah? And the same energy goes into the mineral kingdom, and the same energy goes into water. Yeah? So all the lakes and all the rivers and all the oceans are cursed with spell energy. Yeah? And if we do just understand, that's all you got to do. Just understand. You don't have to commit to a ceremony of any kind. Just understand that as a human being, what I'm speaking to is bodhicitta, a seed. You know, the real reason why you're in this physical body, why you're not barking, yeah, why you're not a kitty, yeah, yeah, just because you're so close to that process, your human nature wants to be subservient to animals. Subservient. So it scares you. You go, oh, should I be vegetarian? Oh, should am I destroying the earth because I'm not eating enough flowers, and all this kind of stuff? Because it's subservient. The mind and the heart becomes subservient when it's weak. It's afraid. It doesn't want to do the wrong thing. It never wants to do the wrong thing. So it doesn't do shit. It does things that seem to be safe. Safe, safe, safe. As much safe as you can possibly get. And that's what pushes, in the science of Buddhism, there are rays, and it pushes just by having this thing of living a safe life. Not being a hunter, not being, a gatherer, not being all these things that really require you to venture out into the very darkness of, and, take on animals that could kill your ass, and bring it back. And fight through all the fears and all the things, and those are your chakras. Those are your ability to, if you're spiritual, you understand that you're not out there under the influence of terrible animals ready to get me. You're out there as one of the animals, as the influence of animal itself, yeah. And you understand the characteristics of animal, that they are predators, and they prey on each other, they live upon each other, and they survive this way. And it happens in all kingdoms, yeah? So as we go into it, we see the offering coming to us on a spiritual plane. Not as a predator, but we can take it as a predator. And we can't. Not as a Buddha. We can't do that as a predator. We're not really a predator. It's actually offered to us. If it doesn't come, if we don't catch it, if it doesn't happen, well, Betty back, comma. Yeah, it's just what it is. But you're not a predator. You're not going to steal from another person. You're not going to do it this way or do it that way. And when it comes down to here we are today, we can go to the store, we can buy the things we need. It's discernment and discrimination, what comes to you. It's the same elemental forces. Yeah. So you have the opportunity, not being a predator, but being a person with wisdom and discernment. And as that happens, you're untying stupidity, ignorance. People who are not capable of understanding the truth if it was handed to them. Can't. Yeah? It would take very, very long for you to explain, stop smoking cigarettes, stop drinking alcohol. All alcohol, including beer, even wine. Oh, wine, come on, Hold on to everything, every single thing, All the things that deaden our senses and all the things that deaden our mind and all the things that slows our spiritual development toward wisdom. Yeah? And as you learn, as you become bodhisattva, like today, you're learning that, it's better to be carnivore than be vegetarian. And it actually opens up much of the brain. All the fat going into the body fills the brain full of the things that it needs to have. We don't know what that is, because in wisdom, the one thing you do know is that you don't know. You don't know. But you are driven by your telepathy and your intuition and your guidance from your heart and your higher mind, yeah, which leads you into a collective realm of other people who are doing the very same thing and are finding a way out, yeah. And you telepathy, your influence, your effort, to be a better, healthier person, you find that it's not in you as an individual seeking enlightenment or seeking, I know the way. I'm the one who knows the way. No, you're getting it from everybody. Everybody's learning the way, and it's coming from Buddha. Yeah, and the more and more you go up that ladder, the more and more it becomes a thinner amount of information. Knowledge becomes less, and wisdom becomes more. Yeah, so that means that so many people, start eating correctly and living correctly and letting go of their animals and letting go of this and that and things that just comes with the nature of becoming wise. Yeah, they get smaller homes, they get solar, they have an electric car. That's because it's being provided. These are offerings, just like the animal is an offering. But in Buddhism, the material world is an offering. Buddha's in charge of the material world. Being so non-materialistic, Buddha is in charge of the material world. And that's Shambhala. That's what's known as Shambhala. That's the material world in a Buddha field. It's the higher mind, it's the working out of technology, it's the education of humanity, synthesizing into right relationship, right understanding, sciences coming together, complementing and finding what they couldn't find that was completely veiled from their ability to understand. All of a sudden, many, many layers of things start getting unveiled. Simply because we are one. And we have no idea that these elemental forces, these curses, are influencing everybody in their lower mind to do stupid things under knowledge. And their whole thing of why they fight, why they go to war, why? Because it's knowledge. They just know they have to. They just know. And it's that influence that is what breaks the law. There's this knowledge law, and then there's law. And law has to do with whether or not you can discern and discriminate and catch a person. Catch a person. You have investigation. You have all these things. You have to be able to unravel the untruth and bring out the truth, even though you have very little ways of verifying the truth. Through the law, your focus is to do such a thing. And in the law, you normally don't take a case until you know you can unravel it and go to court and do that. So when we get to the heart where law sits, and we have no idea that the law and the higher mind and all the chakras and everything in our being is based on the reality of love. So our intuition, our wisdom, all of that is in love. It's loving wisdom. And its ability is to have the ability to catch somebody and be able to bring it together like an attraction, rather than filling up more corruption and more by clouding it and letting it carry itself out for years and years and years. Instead, love shines a light on it, and it influences the virtues of another law. In this other dimension of Buddha field, there's another law, and that law has to do with catching demonic reality, glamours and crimes against humanity, because it's all about humanity. Why do we go to war? Why do all these things? Why do all these terrible things happening? They're inhumane. What happens all the way up through this elemental force to where people don't get busted, and they can lie and they can deceive, and people just go along with it. Oh yeah, we'll just hang this person, because they're black, and we'll call them a robber, we'll call them this, we'll make bad statements about them in order to justify the law that allows us to let them die in that way or be persecuted in that way or treated in that way, because they don't have a right to vote. They don't have a right. It's a law. It's a law. And that law is based on a lack of compassion, a lack of understanding. There's a real law sitting right next to it that we could tap into at any time. And that changes everything. Yeah, that's the other dimension. It's based on the law, and it brings harmony. I'll show you this. This is the process in humanity. You see the healthy, down at the base is the fourth ray. That's harmony through conflict. That's the elements of humanity. That is earth itself. The fourth ray is earth, yeah? Then you have the first ray way up on top, and this is those two rays connect together. Yeah, they influence each other. By nature, they influence each other. And this is a natural, harmonic aspect. It brings everything into harmony. It works everything out. It doesn't cause any kind of conflict or war or anything like that, because the law that's instilling catches that which would create war, that which would create killing, that all the things that break the commandments between God and yourself, that gives us nature. And we shouldn't have to have it, but we need it. Yeah, just as a reminder in the process of clearing. Yeah, but we have built within us the healthy aspect of our nature. Yeah, and that healthy aspect is what we're all based on. We have the ability to take the law, and that's the will of God, the law, the will of God comes down into earth. That's the first thing that begins to happen when our chakras heal, when things come together. And that's what I do, even though we're not in a spiritual world to where the science that I speak of is involved, and all my forms and my vajras and all that. People are like, yay, love it. Those are so powerful. That's great. Doctors, all kinds of people use them. Yeah, but it's so far ahead, of where people are at, because this science based on what it is that's going to heal everything. Yeah, and we don't know that healing can work in such a way, because here we are with these chakras. If everything I'm doing is actually healing these chakras, yeah, and that unhealthy side over here is causing all the unhealthiness on planet Earth, the only way you're going to fix it is by healing all that unhealthiness. And you're not going to do it through other ways, but the outcome of it will be the law. It will create the law. And you have no idea that what the law really is abiding by. It's abiding by justice, by caring, by sharing, by giving, by loving, by kindness, by generosity. It's the law of love. Yeah, and we have no idea that even exists. Because what is that? Socialism? What is that? Communism? What is that? How can anything like that exist? We don't know of any such thing. Yeah, but it's the law. Yeah, and all these laws are sitting in us, and they're in transformation right now. Because all human beings, whether Trump or anybody, they're all elemental, yeah, and they're being untied, yeah. They have purpose, they have action, they have speech, they have intention, they have their own view, and they want to cover it up. They want to keep it veiled. They don't want to be caught because they're breaking the law. But the law that they're implying is laws that allows you to break the laws. Laws that allow you to be vain. Yeah? It allows you to think that you're above the law. It allows you to think crazy. That you could shoot someone in New York and no one's ever going to do anything about it. That's a law built inside of a person. But it has nothing to do with real law. That's why all laws, that's why everything is lawlessness. That's why we have all kinds of people going in and out of divorce. That's why we have all kinds of war. That's why we have all the things we have going on, because there's all lawlessness rather than law. Law only comes from this healthy component of our chakras. When the first ray comes into play with the fourth ray, if it's not there, then it's down with that seventh ray and the fifth ray sitting in your sacral. I mean, you can't even get the implication of what that means, because it's a spiritual science, yeah? And that spiritual science, in reality, is what's going to save your planet, yeah? Because here, as a healing crisis, we have the process of Trump, as a healing crisis, as all of humanity, and every nation has a ray package. Every nation has a soul and a personality, yeah? And the Lord works on every nation, is healing every nation, yeah? So they're all being healed simultaneously. Simultaneously. There is no one person or one thing. There's no separation in the law. No separation. Even though in the conflict of everybody, which creates conflict, trust me, it drives you crazy because you can't get it back into everything as one again. The moment you go separate in any way, it's over with. You've completely turned everything into, how do I get back? I've lost my path, and that's broken. Now how do I fix it? Your mind goes nuts unless you have all the connections that are wired up through the Holy Spirit. And that's the law. That's when you see these chakras, the way they're set like God's blessing in creation. What makes a human being what they are? They're healthy. They heal other things. They communicate telepathically with other things. They don't seek knowledge because they have so much wisdom coming from others who have seeked understanding, learned things. You hang out with someone who knows how to play guitar. After a while, if you have a heart, you start wanting to learn to play a guitar. You just start wanting to, and you pick it up and you go, wow, whoa, this is cool, and you have abilities you don't know you have because we're all one in this process, and we don't know that we can actually receive metamorphically what goes on in this process. So there's a transition, and we're in that transition where now we're in process of a working out of what we witness as Trump's world, or the world of materiality, And there's QAnon, and there's, it's all a lie, and everybody's lying about the votes, and Biden didn't, all this kind of stuff, But the truth is, that in the spiritual realm of reality, reality does exist. Reality exists. And there's a great portion of humanity which resonates with the truth. And when I was saying, when there's separation, there's no longer any truth. Because now we've gotten diversification of different kinds of truth in separation. You see it from your different view. But when you hit the right note, when you're in the right scene, your view becomes connected because you're no longer separate, and it becomes a collective consciousness. So that view moves people in a certain way, So imagine Trump doesn't want to change, doesn't want to, and a lot of people are thinking, well, he'll never go to jail, he'll never be busted. All these people who do wrong and all the things that have gone on, we're just going to forget about it, and he'll die and we'll just continue, and things like that. Like there's no justice, like there's no law, like things don't really change, But the truth is things do change, and they change dramatically, and we're in the process of change. So what we witness is that here Trump goes out and he sends all these lawyers, the Kraken lady and the New York guy, that used to be the mayor, Giuliani, and at a time when these people are literally wacko in their life. They're crazy, and they're on their own right, in their own house, all on their own, without Trump. They're crazy, But he just happens to be attracted to corrupt, crazy people who have law degrees, And say, well, hey, you want to hear something really crazy? Yeah, come here, Yeah, hey, guess what? Da-da-da-da. And everybody kind of files in, these really crazy lawyers. And these are not just corrupt lawyers, but they're channeling, They create a kind of a hero sect, as though Trump can't do wrong, and that whatever he says is true. So they don't have to verify. They're outside of, in lawyer reality, you got to verify a whole bunch before you step into court, because you want to win the case. So you want to have a lot of people that you can verify what you're saying, a lot of framework, a lot of verifiable stuff, evidence, Well, in this process, no one had any evidence, and this went to nearly every state that Trump lost in. And they did lawsuits and the whole trip, yeah. And the process comes down now, in these days, that the process is that the law is coming around. That the people who are in the court, who carry the rays to be in the law, who has a first ray or fourth ray energy, these are normal rays inside of people when they become lawyers, when they become something. Well, that inside them comes back around when the influence of wisdom comes into play. And their job is to make a decision. You know, this isn't lawful, this isn't the right thing to do, and, you know, we're going to do these things, yeah? So check this out. This is what happens to Mr. Trump. So a federal judge ordered sanctions on Wednesday for Sidney Powell, Linwood, and many others, 9 in total, and challenged the results of 2020 election. Parker, who's the judge, ordered the lawyers to reimburse all the attorney fees that the city of Detroit and Michigan had put out. They put sanctions against them so they would lose their ability to practice law. All through this period, they went through more and more and more, all the way to Giuliani and everybody losing their ability to practice law. And now the statement in this is that this has nothing to do with, you know, whether or not the case is right or whether or not anybody screwed anybody. It had to do with them going in just to get people not to believe in democracy. You know, to very much not to believe in democracy. So all these people are now having to pay all the court costs. This is millions of dollars. And they're all being sued, too, by other companies, you know, and things that they've done. But they're all having this process come around in every area, whether it be, you know, being sued by people that they claim to be doing the bad stuff, and then they ruin their lives. So now that's $1 billion, 1.5 billion here, 1.2 billion over there. Then all these legal fees come up, and then all the processes of the fact that every single lawyer in every state, now, this is something they never do. They never say, I'm going to put sanctions against you. You literally, all 9 lawyers, you have to go back to school. They sanctioned them. You have to go back to school. You have to study law again in this area because you know nothing of law. And you got to pass, or you don't get your law degree back. Yeah? And then we're recommending sanctions through your state that they question whether or not you should have a law degree. And that should be dropped. Yeah? This is 9 lawyers, you know, and this is happening to almost all of them everywhere. They're all getting this influence of how to best deal with these people. It's not just about putting them in prison and things like that, but get them to understand that you cannot come into court and not get sanctioned to the process to where you lose your license and you lost your house, your car, your business, and your reliability as a lawyer. Your job is over with, yeah, by coming in and playing this part. Yeah? And there's a lot of law that holds up in this way, corrupt law that goes on, that we're not doing the right thing in. And this is all going to change. Yeah, this is at the very top levels. This is like, how are we going to get this president? Yeah, literally all of Congress and many others are focusing on gathering information that could never have gotten before. Tax information, phone calls, all this stuff is being gathered because it's coming from the heart. You know, if it wasn't coming from the heart and the higher mind of knowing that we're going to find something, these people are idiots. They're idiots. They can't hide shit. It's all in their computer. It's all on their phone. Everything is there. All we got to do is ask for it because they're so stupid. Yeah? We got to use our wisdom to collect information, to find the truth, and reorient from what is the big lie into the truth. And that judges them. That in itself judges them and puts them into a process to where they no longer can be this unhealthy element manifesting into the world. And that includes Trump. That includes all the processes of, how we're going to deal with pedophilia and his close friend and the lady, and whether or not that's all going to come down. Are we actually going to go in to getting the Prince of England, to go to prison for pedophilia as a child? Are we going to go all the way into the Catholic Church to do the right thing in all the cases? Are we going to do this? Or are we just weak? Led under lesser laws. Lesser laws that this law is, no. We have too much loyalty toward the Catholic Church. That's a law. Your ideology of the Catholic Church. No, you'd be breaking the law, which is loyalty. That law, that loyalty is sixth ray. Trump says for everybody who became a Trumpian and came in there, can you be loyal? 100% loyal. If not, are you willing to lose your job? Because I will take your job and destroy you if you're not loyal. That's where that law sits. And that's the same with the Pope. Are you loyal to homosexuality? Are you loyal to a deluded, pagan religion of goddess? Are you loyal to that? Are you loyal to Lucifer so we can do that every Easter and call upon Isis, Ishtar? I mean, really? And yet, because we don't have the heart, the law, the Buddha, the Christ, it's in this vehicle, this reality, that all these things change, because there's only one law, and it comes from love, and it's the law of God, and it doesn't judge people or do all the bad things, but it shines a light so strong it makes the lesser light weaker, so that they can't follow it anymore. Even the lawyers and the judges and others who couldn't get beyond the false light, their pride, their ego, their delusion, the false light. They couldn't get beyond it. We have to get beyond it, because we are all in the influence of humanity. We have humanity moving us. That's all the force. That's what I call the Sangha. Power of the Sangha is the Sangha dissolves this. They listen to what I'm saying. Okay, you're meditating, right? You're anxious right now, right? What are you going to do? I'm going to do flower essence. I'm going to go do soul therapy. I'm going to go lay down. I'm going to calm down. Because it's obviously just my emotions. And it's messing with my mind. My mind will say shit and mess with you. And it'll mess with other people. And if it's not saying anything, it's still messing with people. So there has to be caring and sharing. Caring and sharing means not harming. Being sensitive to understanding what harm is, down to the subtlest level. That way you can eat, you can sleep, you can do all the things you need to do in your life, as long as you practice your dharma. You have to practice your dharma. Why? Because you're a freaking Buddha. You're a Buddha. You have to practice the dharma. If you don't, you're going to fall into the hands of lesser dharma. And that influence includes everybody and everything and all the elements and all of anything that goes on in the world. We have no way of understanding it, no way of fixing it, no way of dealing with it. Without Sangha. Sangha is everything. So it's like I said, it's how we look at other people. How do we think of other people? We got to think of all of humanity as a very special species. Not the way we may think. Not human beings as human beings, individual with race and name and all this kind of stuff. We have to think higher. We have to think special. We have to think sick. We have to think impure. We have to think they need help. we have to think that help's only going to come from you being pure yourself. Yeah, by carrying on the dharma and doing these things, the view and all that. It's a very central practice. When you do that, your every opportunity and everything in life, it constantly keeps that wheel turning in the way it should turn, rather than the opposite direction. You have no idea that moment of your thought, your action, your feeling, is turning that wheel in the opposite direction. And then, you wonder why other people have cancer and suffering and all these things that are invisible that aren't happening to you, but they're happening outside of you because everything is you. Does that make sense? Yeah? Everything. Yeah? So we really got to, pay homage to the reality of, this is a temple. We have to give it peace. We have to not let it build up impurity. Yeah, we have to not let the mind control the thought. It has to go back to the heart. It has to go back to, these are the practices that we have to practice. We have to meditate. We have to remain calm. We have to do all these things. Yep. All right, so let's meditate. Let's remain calm. Okay, I'm going to do this invocation today. I invoke the power, the love, the wisdom. And just repeat after me. Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. To this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so before we do the meditation, I want to point out one thing, is that you might notice that in the world, we're stepping out of war, and a 20-year war. And a lot of people died in that war, and for 20 years. And at the same time, we're witnessing the fact that our country was nearly taken over by a tyrant, who tried to destroy democracy and tried to get everybody to distrust human nature, human beings, fighting against each other like it's a civil war. We came close, and yet because of what's going on, because of the love in everybody, we didn't reach that point. Yeah. And at the same time, we're busting these people. We're catching 700 people who broke in and, beat up cops and did all the things. They're now in jail. They're behind bars. And, and we are collectively working on, finding out enough information about the president who created this situation and the lies he's continued, which is worse than the event that happened. His lies is worse, yeah? And that's affecting all of America, for us to move forward and do the right thing. But simultaneously, we have a $3.5 trillion recovery plan of being able to help humanity, care for humanity, put in infrastructure, take care of children, make it possible for people to go back to work, to start new jobs, to begin, everything new, in a process that, we thought it was all going the other way. And war at the same time. We were in a war. We're not in a war anymore. And we are starting an infrastructural process against what it was that was causing everybody to have the worst possible slums and all the homelessness in the United States. All the things that have come to this day, come to this point, is caused by heartlessness. Yeah? A lack of us being able to uncover the lawlessness that happens in corruption under capitalism. Yeah? And we're actually rooting that out. And simultaneously, we're wheeling down the president. We're calling out the rebels and the people who say that, this is not really, true, and QAnon and all the crap that comes from that. And simultaneously, we're ending a war, and simultaneously, we're building new infrastructure, and simultaneously, we have a president that is on the ball, with everything that's going on. Closing down a war the way he did, and having cooperation from the other side. Cooperation. Where everybody's going, no, those are the bad guys. You can't trust them. Don't talk to them. No negotiations. No, it's better to see if this option has a good way out. And have these people learned a lesson. And behind them, could there be democracy? And we just don't know it. Because it was such a terrible, 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 terrible period. Yeah? So there's so much going on, and so much is being done through the heart, through law, through right order, and restructuring, humanity's ability to find love. Whether or not love is based on faith, love is based on hope, love is based on, a working out and having God involved in a miraculous process of cooperation. War ends when we get cooperation. When we say no mask, no shot, and the president says no, don't trust any voting, don't trust anything to do with voting, got to keep me as your president, that kind of stuff. This is a really, really, really left spin situation. And we are witnessing the right spin. We're witnessing it all being moved and changed. And that's this. I invoke the power, the love, the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. And it's a transformation and to transmute my feelings and emotions. There's people in the world that would never vote, say that president did what he did. Never able to see all the things that happened, but they were all so true. We have over 16, I believe, police officers who are suing Donald Trump. Police officers who protected the Capitol, who were beaten, maimed, and humiliated. They're all suing Donald Trump and his family and several other people. They're suing it, and they're going to win. Millions for every single one, plus a reordering, a restructuring, a re-understanding of what a president is. And what is the responsibility of the White House, and how do we keep these people safe? We can't just have people come in and take it over like they did. There's way too much laissez-faire process of thinking these people are completely untouchable. They're senators, they're congressmen, they're a president. It's like fame, fortune, as though they're gods. They're not. They're all just human beings. They all die. And they are being manipulated. So witness it. When we do this meditation, it's the invocation of the 7 rays, and in it is what I'm talking about in the healing aspect of all the nations and everything that's going on. These are invocations to bring about the healing inside of humanity, and it's working. We are ending war, and we are creating prosperity. War creates poverty everywhere. War creates poverty. That's the only thing it does. Only by special interests do they gain money. Governmental special interests from war. But in all terms, it creates poverty, injustice. It eliminates trade. It puts sanctions on other countries that are poor already, and it allows the behind-the-scene corruption of oil and diamonds and minerals to be taken from the world through slavery and other forms. All that is what's behind war. So this is everything that is, all of that is what we're focusing on. All of that we're focusing on by awakening the virtues, coming through the back door, knowing that every living human being is at least a bodhicitta. At least. And all you got to do is do your part. Be Sangha. And everything else is Sangha. All right. So just relax, close your eyes. Take a deep breath.
God, the word of power. I invoke the sense of touch and the first ray as the finger of God. Sixth ray as the desire of all the nations. I invoke the sense of smell as the fourth ray, the beauty of revelation I evoke the sense of intellect as the fifth ray, as the knowledge of God. I evoke the sense of intuition as the second ray, the understanding of God. I call upon the synthesis of the seven rays to be expressed through your personality. As the first ray of ideas, the mental body, the purpose, your life. Second ray of ideals, the astral body and your quality. The third ray of idols, your physical body and your form. The fourth kingdom of humanity in balance. The fifth ray, the third kingdom, the animals. The sixth ray, the second kingdom, vegetables. The seventh ray, the first kingdom, minerals. I call upon the relationships of all the kingdoms to penetrate the personality of humanity and express its collective soul. Seventh ray and the fourth ray as the mineral kingdom. The second ray, the fourth ray, and the sixth ray as the vegetable kingdom. The third ray and the sixth ray as the animal kingdom. The fourth ray and the fifth ray as the human kingdom. The fifth ray and the second ray as the egoic soul. The sixth ray and the third ray as planetary lives. each nation, and to express its true expression, to make manifest peace on earth as one living body of God. I call upon India to bring forth its fourth ray of personality and to integrate its first ray of soul to manifest the hidden light. I invoke China to bring forth its third ray personality to integrate its egoic soul into its first ray to manifest as the indication of the way. I invoke Germany to bring forth its first ray of personality, to integrate its egoic soul of fourth ray, to preserve the truth. I invoke France and its third ray personality to integrate its fifth ray of egoic soul to release the light. I invoke Great Britain and its first ray personality and its second ray egoic soul to bring forth its service. I invoke Italy and its fourth ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul to carve the two paths. I invoke the United States and its sixth ray personality to integrate its second ray soul to light the way. I invoke Russia and its sixth ray personality to integrate its seventh ray soul to link the two ways. I invoke Australia and its fifth ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul and serve the lighted way. I invoke Spain and its seventh ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul to disperse the clouds. I invoke Brazil and its second ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul to hide the seed. I invoke the entity of this planet, the planetary logos, to incarnate the light and the beingness of this planet. I invoke the expression of the second ray force into both the personality and the egoic rays of the nation and the personality of the egoic ray of humanity, to fuse itself and its light into its healing process. I invoke the esoteric law of solar energy
Okay, just relax. Open your eyes. So the wake him up. Wake him up. Mm-hmm. So the process in Buddhism is to imagine in a world you have drama, yeah, a lot of drama, yeah, and that drama, it doesn't just it's not just your peculiar personal, characteristic, your drama. It's not. It's in peril. It's in peril. Because your drama is all about in peril. Oh no, I'm in peril. Oh no, I'm in peril. Save me, I'm in peril. I'm never going to make it. Why does this happen? And then you think other people are doing shit to you or this and that and all these things, reasons behind your in peril. It's a melodramatic process of creating peril. It has thought forms to it. And it is self-absorbed, yeah. And in that it absorbs life. It absorbs it, yeah. Rather than calming down, no matter what the situation, even if it's your deathbed, good time to calm down, yeah. But whatever the situation, broken door, bad relationship. Whatever the situation, staying calm, is your best bet. And mindfulness is your best way of dealing with it. And then your higher mind comes into play, and it happens in a form of telepathy, so that the world around you isn't manipulating you, and you really can't manipulate it, but you can witness things get healthier. You can witness people not be that way. The way that bothered you, the circumstance that bothered you doesn't bother you the same way, same circumstance, but it doesn't bother you the same way. Yeah? And when it doesn't bother you, you're not putting in peril into matter. Does it matter? That's the point. Does it matter? It doesn't. It doesn't. But as long as you behave like this, you're imperiling matter. And that matters, because babies have to breathe this shit. Human beings have to breathe this stuff. They too have to fix things. They have to cope with problems in the world. And all we have is each other. We must depend. That is what Sangha is. You have to gain empathy, compassion. You must gain these things. And it has to be the reasoning behind what you're doing, because you do it for a good reason. Yeah? You do it because you're wiser today than you were yesterday, because you practice this. You unleashed less in peril. And it's less dramatic. There's less wars. There's less crime. There's less confusion. There's more cooperation. The things you need to be fixed, the more you just are aware of the fact they need to be fixed, and you look at it in a loving, compassionate, trusting, faith-oriented way, As time comes around, you will see it fixed, because we are all one and we depend on each other. It's not about you having to go out to do it. It's about all of us doing it. You must be supportive. You cannot imperil this any longer. Yeah? Because it's the cause of all suffering. Yeah? Desire is the cause of all suffering. Desire creates imperil. Yeah? And you have no idea that dramatic experience you're going through is your way of continuing the suffering. Yeah? The suffering you're in, your reaction to it begets more suffering. Yeah? Right there in that moment, it begets suffering. It's like a disease that's, going at it, and the only way you can fix it is by letting go. And it goes away because it doesn't exist. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah? The only thing that matters is you. You matter. You matter more than anything you're upset about. And you being upset is not good for you. Yeah? So that matters. And then you got to fix that. And then whatever it is that you're bothered by, that too will get fixed. Yeah? Because you're not alone. Yeah? This world is full of fixers. Yeah? And the idea of how to fix anything comes through faith and hope and not having that imperiled thought, which eliminates faith and hope. There is no faith and hope in being avarice. Having an avarice attitude. Yeah? And you have no idea that you got an adverse attitude other than the fact that you're constantly in a state of imperil. And that's avarice and the outcome. The outcome, bad karma. A long time of avarice. And avarice doesn't come from being greedy or any of that. It could start from the very smallest seed. When you have greatness, avarice can grow very quickly, like a disease. So you got to nip everything in the bud and practice meditation, because that's who you are. You do not have imperil. You're out of imperil. You're meditating. And it just completely dissolves because you're putting light into it, wisdom into it, which takes away misunderstanding and leads toward understanding. Yeah? And that instills faith. Without that, without you doing it, you have no reason to have faith, because your faith is in yourself, and yourself is connected to everybody. Yeah? We're all in this. Yeah? All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy.